Okay, so I know you guys are not sharing screens right now, but that's fine. You don't have to be on the Zoom. I'm just going to ask some questions about the, I guess from the board. I guess I could put it up on the board, and I'll do that. I did have this. You know, we have to look at this article, and we're looking at definition of success. Eventually, we're going to compare Christine Organ's definition of success versus what we think Ben Franklin's definition of success would be. But right off the bat, I wanted to point out something real quick. We already know she's trying to define success, right? So she's telling her readers, because this is a blog, that she has a new definition of success. And that's hopefully that will drive us in to look at this. I noticed too that she was able to put her credibility in there. If we were talking about ethos, pathos, and logos, you know, she put her own credibility in there. Anybody notice that? She said while she was she was a partner or something at a law firm. You know, she is an attorney, so we have automatically some sort of respect for her. So I want to jump right to, and let's see, go ahead and share screen here. I'm going to go right into, let's see, what I can do, the SWBST chart, and do that. So let me change the input. There we go. And blow this up. My computer didn't update, but we'll go through that there. So you'll be able to see my SWBST chart on here. A couple of things that I've noticed on the thing itself. I do like that she put kind of like a subtitle thing, or at least had that pull quote right at the very beginning. Success is not a victory or result, but a perpetual state of mind. It is learning from external paradigms of accomplishment while listening to a compassionate inner voice. So she went ahead and kind of put that new definition right there. If that's going to be a definition of success, a hardcore written definition, there it is. Anybody catch what Merriam-Webster said the definition of success was? You probably did. I couldn't believe how vague it was, because usually definitions are supposed to be pretty specific, right? So she defines it, or like Merriam-Webster defines it, I'm going to put it up big, a favorable or desired outcome. That's pretty vague. All right, so I had a desire to get out of bed early this morning. I did, right? And I mean, it was great. That's a definition of success. But what I do like about this article, she went on to say, look at the things that we really define ourselves with. She went through a list of a personal thing, some of the personal things, and who she looked forward to. All these are external devices. When we talk about success, most of the time we define success by our external devices, i.e. we just had 5 people that you admired and you chose one, and you know, I don't know if, well, no, there were a couple of people who chose their parents, and that was pretty good, just because I don't know if that necessarily is that external example of success. You know, there was some internal examples of success there, but that was pretty interesting. But looking at, I know we tend to get complicated a lot of times, and this was a fairly good article taking us through her process of how she defined or came up with the idea of, it's not saying how she came up with the idea, but it's like, hey, look, this is my definition, and this is how the process that I went through and got it. You know, she admired people, and then she looked internally, and then all of a sudden we have this thing. So I asked you to complete a chart to summarize the story, summarize the article, and this is what I actually came up with. And I know that you'll have something different, but I just kept it simple and sweet, and just wanted to. And I know we can go further on it, but somebody, Christine Organ, you know, the contributor on this article, wanted to define success, but she came up and said there's so many variables, external, internal. I didn't do a lot of explanation here. I'm just I did the sticky notes on it. So what was her solution to the problem? Because there's so many variables. Well, her solution was to make a comparison of at least how I saw it, both of the external and intrinsic, her word, which is internal meanings. And then once that she was able to evaluate those, she was able to say what the solution was. And I put the solution kind of into the final resolution. The personal definition is now shared. She was able to come up with a personal definition. And if you remember, we said it right off the bat, right on the top of her article, success is not a victory or result, it's a perpetual state of mind. That's what she came up with. It's learning from external paradigms of accomplishment while listening to a compassionate inner voice. So, and Ben Franklin talks about it just made him happy to go through the process. So that's a little bit of something that they have in common. I guess I'm kind of jumping ahead. All right. So my summary sentence, I kept it. I kept it simple because I didn't want to go through a whole 3-sentence summary of what this article was. I should have said Christine Organ, but Organ investigates the external, internal definitions of what success is and expressing her own definition of success based on her discovery or thought processes. So she's just processing this as a thought. So, and this might not be, I don't want that. Delete. So this might not be the best solution. It might not be your solution, but hopefully you have something that's fairly close to that. There is a lot of information that she went through and shared with us as for how she came up with her definition. Now, she didn't say, this is how I'm coming up with my definition. She just went ahead and gave us the examples. So I'm hoping that what you will take from it is that you can kind of do the same thing. So when you're writing your paragraphs or writing your things, you won't say things like, this is where I'm going to talk about, or this is how I'm going to describe, or this is how I came up with it. Basically, you just show it. And just like Christine Organ did, she showed it to us. So, yeah, that's it. I'm going to go to the questions and we'll just go over those real quick.